everybody, welcome to my studio. Today I am going to share with you a little bit in my Nomad book. I have actually tried to start this video a couple of times over the past few days. I just am not exactly sure what all to share with working in this. I have been gathering just different images here and there these past few days, this past week or so. They've been kind of collecting, and have, since I've decided to start working in this, I realized that this is the book that I want those images to go in. But then beyond that, I just kind of wasn't sure how to proceed with sharing, because a big part of me wants to just start flipping through the book, going through my piles, and just start kind of adding stuff in. And so I had started a couple times to video that, and just my kind of tucking stuff in, and it's like, well, this seems kind of like really boring, and a lot of it is just me flipping back and forth and kind of looking at things, and I just wasn't sure. The other part of me knew, I know how I am and how I create. I'm getting very aware of my process, and that is, I have no idea when stuff is going to start coming together and start coming out, and something's going to be made from that. The perfect example of that is I had sat down to start doing a couple of pages in this little guy, and I was looking through just some clipped words, and I had pulled out this little bit right here of book text. I can't even pick it up now. I'm so afraid I'm going to lose it. And this is what started this whole thing today. You have no idea. You have no idea like what's been going on today, just because of this silly little piece of paper. But it says a thin rain was falling, and I thought, oh, that'd be perfect. I'll use that, in my little booklet, and that'll be my little bit of collage that I'll do for the day. And so I knew that I had to have a picture somewhere of some rain, and I was just going to glue that down with the words and call it good and move on to whatever was next. Well, several hours later, I had gone through probably three stacks of places where my images have been piling up. Once again, some of it is from my move. I had put a bunch of images in a plastic tub last year sometime, or the year before, and honestly I have no idea why I did it, but they're there. And so I just started kind of looking through it for a picture of some rain. So then I ended up pulling out all of these, and with the thinking, oh, these would be perfect in my Nomad book. So I kind of got sidetracked on that. While I was doing that, I was also kind of setting some things to the side that I don't know why. I just kind of like, oh, well, that's kind of neat. I'll set that to the side. That would work good in the book. And lo and behold, something kind of started coming together. So that's where we are now. Rain page didn't even make it in there. I ended up doing something completely different that had nothing related to where I had originally thought that little piece of paper was going to go. I thought it was going to go in here, and now it's going to go in here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and flip you around, and I'll show you what I had pulled out, and just kind of try to explain what I was thinking as I was doing that, because stuff just kind of started coming together really quickly, and I want to be able to share that with you, because this one is going to be a really simple page. It's basically just me putting images down. It's not going to be heavy in collage or anything like that, like the previous pages. This one is just using the images that I'm finding to put in here, just the textures and the colors that are in the images, and just a couple of words, and that's it. So the whole building the page, as far as the process of putting the page and gluing it together, is only going to take me a few minutes. But I thought it would be nice for me to actually talk through what I was thinking and how I got to the place where I am right now, and then we'll go ahead and just get things glued down so we can get these pages done. So I'm going to move the camera up there so you can look down, and we will get started. Okay, so here is my Nomad book, the one that I am currently doing collage in. And well, you know what, first of all, I'll show you this silly piece of paper that started the whole thing. This guy right here. So I had found it. I've got a tin full of words and sentences. Well, these are all sentences that are just cut from books, and I have been using those just to help as far as doing these little pages in my little log and jotter. This is basically like field notes, and I don't think this one has my address in it. And I get one a month, and I have a whole bunch of them saved up because I absolutely love them, and I have decided to start doing at least one page a day in here. And so I think I might I did 2 today. These are the 2 that I did today, and I did 2 because they just kind of happened and flowed together as far as these flower images and all that goes. But what I had originally started thinking that I was going to put in here for this day was based all around this little piece of book text. And like I said earlier, as I was looking through my things, I've got this top where I have it's just full of stuff, and just full of images, ones that I don't have obviously sorted into my drawers over there. These were mainly, I had all of these in a big zipper pouch, and anytime I would go and do, I would go a lot of times and go sit at Whole Foods in their eating area, and that was just kind of my little bit of away time from taking care of kids all day every day and things like that. I'd go to Whole Foods and get a little snack, and I would sit at the table there and just do art journaling. And so this was just easy for me to take. I used to also take it and have it in the car with me because I had about an hour when I got off work until my kids were done at school, where I was sitting in the parking lot, and a lot of times I would sit and do things like that. So that's just kind of what all of this is. And so I had started going through here looking for a rain picture, and as I was doing that, I started pulling images out that I thought would work in this book here. So I started pulling things out of here. I had also, whenever I kind of realized that I wasn't going to be doing the rain one, and it had started switching over to these, I had been looking through this one, which this is actually a drawer from my drawer unit, and this is just all flowers. And so I was going through it, and once again I started adding more and more and more to this big old stack of ones that I think will work perfect in this book. So as I was going through things, let me get this out of the way. As I was going through things, I kind of started pulling out. It started with this one, and as you can see, it's raining a little bit, but it's too big for this, and I didn't want to cut this down, so I thought, well, maybe I'll put it in here. So I kind of set that to the side, and then as I was going through more things, I saw this and I was like, oh, well, that's really cool. That would look really neat in this book somewhere. So I kind of set that to the side. And then I kind of set this one to the side. And then I kind of set this one to the side and this one. And I had them just kind of piled up over here as I was working on this here. I just kind of had these over here, and every now and then I just kind of I kept on seeing my eye go over to them, and I started moving them around, and I thought, you know, these actually would look really cool, like kind of stacked together and placed in here. So the next thing that I did after I finished those, I got my book out and just started flipping through it a little bit. And since I'm new to working in this, I'm really not familiar with like the pages. So it's not like I knew that I had seen a page that one of these images would work on for sure or anything like that. Pretty much looking through this each time, it's brand new to me because I'm just not familiar with the pages that are inside. So I just kind of started at the beginning, and you'll see as I kind of flip through where I have been tucking things in here and there these past couple days. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Like I said, I've tried so many times to start this video, but just wasn't sure what would work and what you would want to see, what would be just, you'd be like, why is she sharing that? This is the most boring thing ever. Or, yeah, this is really helpful. So I hope this is kind of a happy medium. So I'll just kind of show you what I've pulled out. This is the one that is still sitting here. This was one of the first images that I put in here. Let's see. So just a lot of these, as I'm looking at them, I'm looking at the colors that are around it. I want the image that I'm placing down to coordinate with what's the colors that are going on in the background. I seem to be kind of gravitating towards, if there's a busy image that I might not cover up, to what I place down might be a little bit less busy, more calming or quiet. Or look how that kind of, I just noticed that just by looking up at the camera here. That's kind of cool. So that's just kind of what I'm doing as I'm trying to decide where they want to be. And it really is. It's just me kind of flipping through, and I've got the images over beside me that I've kind of flipped and looked through them, so I have some of them kind of in my mind as I've been looking through. I think I'm getting really close to actually just sitting down on the floor with this book and just have the images scattered all around me and just kind of flip through, and as I see a page, then I'll, you know, reach forward and place it in there. It's going to be like a building. I feel these pages in here like they're going to be kind of a building process. I don't know if like one page is going to automatically all come together at once, or if it's just going to kind of come together bit by bit in stages as I'm maybe working on a different one or flipping through all my images and whatnot. I might see one and think, oh, you know what, that would go really, I remember placing these in here, that would look really neat with those, and then I might tuck that in. And then one day, whenever it's ready, it will decide to turn into a page, just like these did here, back here. Because once again, with this one, and I keep on saying that once again, so sorry, please forgive me for saying that all the time. I will try to stop doing that. Here, I was going to use this page. This was going to be the very first page that I was going to do in this book. But as I was looking for other things to go on this page, I had pulled out these and had placed these in here, and then this one just kind of started coming together. So I have a feeling that's going to be how I kind of work in this, and I think that's why I'm struggling with what to video and what not to video, because a lot of it is kind of like putting together a puzzle each day, bit by bit. One day I might complete a whole little part of that puzzle, which would be a page, and another day I might just fit in a few pieces of the puzzle, which would be placing in a few images here and there. So back to this one, I thought this flower cutout might look kind of cool going over this. So the red of the flower, there's the red in this, just just kind of, there's a little bit of red in her dress. It's hard to tell, but she has a red gingham dress on. That's just kind of what drew me to picking this. Even though all of this is probably going to be cut away, it does match with that. So that could be another reason why I was kind of pulled to placing this image here. Let's see what else is in here. And I'm not working front to back. I will be skipping around all over the place in this book. Just whatever page is ready to be worked on, that's the one that I will be working on. This one here, once again, this flower I thought was really cool. And I want, whenever I have images that are facing a certain direction, I like them to face in. So for me, my eyes, I don't like the flower going out off the page. I like it to where it's drawing my eye towards the page. So that's why I have it on this side. And I had just kind of going through all my stacks, saw this. So this will be cut out, and then I'll have this tucked in there somehow. Maybe. I mean, that's where it is right now. There's some red up here. So this is just kind of where that one's at right now. This here, I placed this one here because a lot of the colors in this image are over here on this side. So I don't know what else to say besides that's just kind of how I am seeing things and working through things. It's the weirdest thing and the weirdest feeling, and whenever I don't listen to this, then things don't work. But I just listen. I just listen to my muse. If something says, you know what, you need to stick that there, I don't question it anymore. I used to question it when I questioned it in the past. Especially with my mixed media, that's when the gesso came out, and that's when I painted over my whole project and started over again. Whenever I just became open to listening to what was being said in my head, no matter how silly it seemed at the time, if I just stayed open and listened and just did what that part of me inside told me to do, then things just would fall into pieces. And so I really am, as I'm flipping through pages, as I'm seeing images, if it says this is where I want to live, that's where I'm sticking it, and then I don't question it. I just say, okay, that's where you want to be, and I'll put it in there. It might not stay. I mean, whenever I get to be working on this later, it might not work out for where this decides to go, but for now, this is where it's going to be. So I will have to be careful with this, because it's going to have pages sticking out, and I don't want anything to get damaged. So I'm going to have to be sure that I am aware of where I have this to where the edges are safe, because it's going to be having some stuff hanging off the sides. So back to these guys. So I had this for sure in my mind, and since these are just so neutral, I wanted it to go on top of a more neutral page. So I just started flipping through here, and I already went by the page that I've decided to place this on. So I came to this one, and I thought, you know, this actually might work perfect because it's the same kind of color scheme. And so at first I thought about placing it here, but it decided to go on this side. And let me clip this down so it stays flat. So this is how we're going to place it down. And with these, I'm just using mono adhesive. It's quick. It works really well for me. A lot of these are from Bella Grace magazine, so it's thick paper. It lays beautifully, nice and flat. Some of these are from this is also thick. This might be from a Flow or something like that. But for this project, for me, if I'm just doing these bigger pieces, I just use mono adhesive. I don't use a glue stick. If I'm placing down smaller bits on top, like my butterflies over here, and these words that are here, I did glue these down. I use my Elmer's Xtreme glue stick. I have really good luck with the Elmer's Xtreme. Do not get the kid glue. Do not get that purple stuff. It does not work. It doesn't hold. My kids have done art projects and brought them to school, brought them home from school, and they just fell to pieces. So I highly recommend the Elmer's Xtreme. I do buy mine through Amazon. I used to find it at Target. I can't find it at my Target anymore. I think there's another one that is a heavier bond. I would just be sure to get a heavy bond glue stick. There's the, what is it, Yoo-Hoo or something like that, UHU brand. That one is also really good. Just get something that says that it has a strong hold. Actually, I think I might have that other one over here. Yes, Elmer's Craft Bond. I have good luck with this one also. It's extra strength. Both of these are really good, and I have used the other one that I mentioned also. But just don't get that other stuff because it just doesn't, I personally, it just doesn't work good for me. So if I'm putting these little things on like that, I do use the glue stick. But anything big, rectangle, paper on paper like this, I use my mono adhesive. So that is what I use. So what I'm going to do then is, like, we're going to put this here, and something that I had forgotten about, a lot of things are coming back to me as I am starting back on this creative journey that I am on. One of the things that I used to do, especially when I was doing my big collages and my big magazine collages in my collage book, sometimes I had several smaller little elements that I was gluing all together to create an image, a lot like this. So there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces right here tucked in under this bit that I cut away. A lot of times I would place this how I wanted it on my work area and take a picture of it. And then as I was, because you have to take it, the pieces away so that you can start gluing them down. And a lot of times I would, for some reason, not be able to get it back the way that I had it before, or exactly the way that I had it. So I started taking a picture of this before I started gluing it down, and then have my phone beside me and have it open so that I could see how to place it back together. So, because I had actually, whenever I was putting these down, I didn't put them back the way that I had them, and I couldn't figure it out for a minute, and I realized that I had that turned that way. Well, just turning it that one way looks completely different. Turning it this way, besides covering up this little bit, but back behind here, it also, the lines are flowing inwards, which I really like the flow of that. There's kind of the flow of the land there, and the same thing with this little bit here on the horizon. This is just a scrap of, I tell you, I don't throw anything away. I keep all of these because I use them. It never fails. I end up using them. So I'm just going to layer those like that. And then I was kind of like, okay, well, what can I put over there? And once again, while I was going through all of my big bag stack of images, I came across this one. And I had remembered that a few nights ago, when I was gathering some quotes and whatnot that I had tucked in other places, I found this, and I thought, well, this will go perfect in my Nomad Journal. And I started flipping through the book trying to find a page that had books on it, and I know there's got to be some in here, but I was impatient, and so I was like, you know, I didn't find anything right away, and I thought, you know what, I have to have a picture somewhere that has books in it. So these are perfect together. So originally I did place that there so that it was, I mean, I would cut the bottom off of this, but it was something like that. But I don't like the way that these look together. And now looking at this, to me it feels like this heavier side of the picture looks better on this side of the book. So, and also the words are justified on this side, so it doesn't look, it looks better hanging out over on this side of the page than it does on this side. So then I saw this again and I thought, okay, well, that actually kind of works because the colors are kind of the same. I wasn't intentionally, whenever I first went in this, thinking that I would do 2 pages at a time or even that they would coordinate, but I think that is just how this journal is going to grow, is to where even if I don't do the pages at the same time, I think they're going to have to be cohesive somehow for my eyes to like the way that they look sitting side by side. On this one back here, there were butterflies on this page. The colors do coordinate, and then I used the butterfly to I moved some from over here and put one over here. So it does coordinate together. There's the little yellow birds and the yellow butterflies. So I don't necessarily, I can't say that I feel myself consciously making those decisions to do that, but it just is another one of those things that just, as I've worked more and more and more with collage, it just kind of happens to where things like this come to be. So on this one here, I think this one will look great there. And then it's like, well, do I cover up these words? Do I leave them there? It's not that bad. It's, you know, it actually kind of, having the text behind it looks kind of neat, and I can just stick my little bit of book text there and call this one done. But I decided to go ahead and look through my pile of images, and I came across this one. And I thought, well, that's actually really pretty. It's got the sun. It goes with this. It blends as far as the colors. So I tucked it over here and kind of looked at it a bit, and I was like, well, I'm not sure. I don't know if I like it down there. And so then I thought, well, maybe I'll tuck it up here. And then I noticed that the tree lines up from both of the images. And I really do like it up here, and I like it up at the top, but glancing at it, it is actually kind of hard to tell that it's 2 different images, which is fine. But I really like the sunshine. And this base down here, the trees, or build whatever this is in the background, it doesn't work up above this open area of the sky. So I tucked it back down in here, and I am going to still line it up so that the tree lines up. But then I do have my sunshine, and glancing at it, and I noticed it the most whenever I looked in the camera, because I had taken a photo of it and I was looking at it, because I can see things differently. I see things and notice things sometimes differently when I look at it as a photo on my phone instead of it just right in front of me. And as I kind of glanced at it on the phone and looking at it on that screen, it looked like this is kind of almost like a reflection. So I think this is the way that this page is wanting to be. And I'm pretty sure that that's where it's going to stop. I'm not going to add any other embellishments. I'm not gonna do anything else with it. Besides, I am seeing, as I look at it, and I was thinking about this before I turned the camera on, I'm almost kind of seeing words, maybe some words written along these lines or across here. I'm not sure. I think the need for me to be writing a little bit is in here, but not a lot, since writing is, I struggle with writing in my journal. I can do a word here and there, but not like extended writing. I just can't do it. But I'm either seeing my writing with like a white pen here, using the leave lines to write on, or adding a little bit of book text, maybe write either above or below this landline. I am not exactly sure yet. The other image that I almost placed here was this one, which I was thinking, once again, with the tying things in together, I kind of started thinking, well, maybe I could find some really light pink flowers and have some just coming in and peeking out, almost like I did here, along this line. But I feel like this is too big. It just doesn't work. So that's when I did go back to this one, and I think this is where it is gonna be. This is where this one's gonna go. I might trim that off so that I can scoot this over, because I really like, there are these finger pointing hand on the paper, and I kind of want to keep some of those open. So I would say that something like that is what it's going to be. I might pause you for a minute and see if I might look through my little tin here of found word, and yeah, something might jump out. Something small. It just needs to be small, that I could put like right there, or down there. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm going to pause you for a minute. I'm going to flip through this and see if I can find something, and I will be back. Okay, I am back. I went through this and was looking for something to maybe put here. And I sat and looked and looked and looked and looked and looked. And I'm laughing, and I'll tell you why here in a second. So this says green and gold fields and summer thick green trees, which I thought, oh, that's perfect. You know, that would actually work really cool for this. And so I set it out, and I was like, okay, I'm going to stop looking through these, and I'm going to come in here and finish filming the rest of this. And I walk in, and over here on the side, I had these little bits that have been sitting here since, oh gosh, before I even started filming this earlier. So they're just ones that I had pulled out as I had first kind of started looking for something to possibly put on here. And this one says, fell into an anxious silence. This I actually pulled out for a different reason, because I remembered that this one says, I laid my heart in his tiny hands. This other one says, each moment. But I had pulled this, I laid my heart in his tiny hands, because I knew that I had pulled out this image earlier today, because I thought it might work good just for something to do in here. And I thought, oh, look, that's perfect. That'll go with that. But as I was looking at all these other ones, and a lot of times that's kind of with part of this with
clipping out all of these sentences from magazines and book texts and things like that, you just kind of have to see it in pieces also, not in necessarily the full silence, the full sentence. So at first, because I was like, well, I don't need anxious on here, fell into a silence I thought would maybe work. But I think now that I'm here and looking at these, it's kind of feeling like I'm going to put, I laid my heart in each moment. And I kind of like the way that sounds. So I think that's what's going to have to be on here. And I think I might just kind of do that. Maybe. I might do it like that, or actually I think, since I'm not going to write it, I think something like this will probably be better. So yeah. So that's kind of how things happen. Things always change when I'm working on these pages, so that's just another perfect example of how I had started with this rain one. I was looking for a rain image to put in here. I ended up setting that to the side because I couldn't find one that was small enough, and in the process of setting that to the side, I had found this, and I was going to work on this one first, and then I had kind of pulled this one out, and I thought, oh, well, that would fit there. And then it's like, well, maybe I should, you know, a watch would be there, would be neat, because this says there have been times. And so I was like, oh, I haven't used a watch in a long time. I haven't done collage like this in a long time. And so it's like, oh, well, this pink one would be perfect. And so then all of this happened, and at the same time, this was kind of starting over to the side, and then the rain one ended up here, and I just, yeah. So it is just the being open and listening, and just, I didn't question things. I just said, okay, this is, you know, I don't know how much time I spent sitting on the couch, just kind of rummaging through this tin, looking for something perfect to go on here, and found something that actually would work, but walked right in here and ended up using something that I had already set out several hours earlier. So what I think I'm going to do now is go ahead and just start adhering these down. I do think I'm going to trim off the side of this because I want to be able to see the finger points down here, and here's the edge of the page right here. So I need to trim some of this off because I don't want this one on the edge. I want it kind of in a little bit, and I want to make sure that I've got my tree trunk that lines up here. So I think that is going to be what I start on next, and we will just kind of go from there. I think we're about done with this. Okay, I think I'm going to start on this side, and I'm just going to use my pencil here to mark a line about where I want to cut this. This part will go really quick because I'm just putting things down. I'm not going to add any bits of extra. I think with this that the images say everything that could be wanting it to say. I'm going to mark, put a little pencil line here where I want to place this one, and I am keeping an eye on these. I at least want one of these to show, so I think this is think this is good. I'm just gonna kind of do a little corner bit here. That way I know where to set this. I hope that you have enjoyed this. It's a little bit different. Just trying to talk about what I'm doing as I'm doing it and how my process kind of works with some of these, with my thinking process behind some of it. A lot of it is really hard for me to express in words because it just kind of happens and I don't know where or why or how. It just does. So sometimes I really do struggle with saying out loud what is going on or why I do things a certain way. But I can say this for sure. Is that, oh, where'd our little piece of paper go? There it is. I've been so afraid this whole time since this one has started coming together. It's like, oh, I'm gonna get like almost finished with this and I'm gonna lose the one little piece of paper that was the driving force behind these 2 pages. And you know, the silly thing is that I could very easily type this out if I had lost it, but it's just not the same as it being cut out of a book. But let's get this down before we lose it. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to set that right there. It kind of fits in there just perfect. So yeah, it can be difficult for me to kind of to get it all out in words, but I do know that I am so happy that I am just feeling the need and to create again, and especially to be doing collage again, and just feeling the it is such a meditative process for me, and just using the different colors. Oh, look at that right there. Is that going to be able to be covered up? There's a little bit. I don't know if I might put that down. Yeah, we'll just scoot that down a little bit. Not a big, huge deal, and probably I might be the only person who would be able to see that. There's just a little bit of a letter. And with this, sometimes you can pull it up and move it, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. But even just the whole process today that I spent just leafing through all the images that I have collected and just looking at them and feeling the paper and just seeing all the colors and the textures. I think that's why I really like these, is that they all have like a different texture to them in the picture. That is for sure what drew me to this one in the beginning. But I got this a little lopsided. And when I was looking through all of my drawer full of the images with all the flowers, the colors were just I was drawn so strongly to all the different colors in those images, and I pulled a lot of them out to be used in here. And I think that I'm kind of looking at this little circle down here. I don't really want to cover these up totally, so I think I'm going to kind of have it so that you can see a bit of both. But this book is colorful, but it's not like bright. There's not a lot of super bright pages in it. It's a lot of them are quite neutral, and so I think that might have been why I was drawn to pulling out a lot of the florals that were bright. Because I feel like they would work really well in here. I don't know if they will. I guess we will find out as we start working through the pages in this. But I really just enjoyed my day. And someone asked me tonight what I had accomplished today, and I was like thinking, well, I didn't know if I really had accomplished that much, but then I started thinking about it, and I did film this, which was big, and just home stuff. You know what? We got to move this over because there's not going to be enough space for that. I forgot that I was putting some text down. Let's see if I can do this carefully. Alright, I want to make sure I've got enough room for these words. We got some. Let's see if we can salvage this here. I'm going to have to try. I will try rubbing some of that off a little bit later. I've got a towel here that I could use. It would probably work a little bit better than my fingers. Let's put that there. Okay, I think I'm going to actually put the word in on the other side, so okay. Usually you can kind of rub off that mono adhesive if the paper's glossy, and this paper is glossy. I'm going to have to get it with a towel though. So let's get the glue. But yeah, I was kind of feeling like maybe I hadn't accomplished that much. And first of all, I've been creative today, and compared to where I was this time last month, that's a huge accomplishment, because this time last month I still hadn't really started doing much, not like I am now. So, but also just sitting and being with the images. And you know what, we had decided to put this over here, hadn't we? I moved that over, and we didn't even need to move that over. Let's see if I can move it back, because there's actually, there we go. I'm going to mess this up if I'm not careful. You can only lift this up and down so many times before you start ruining the paper. I just remembered that I was going to put these words over here in the corner. I'm going to put this other one down first so that I can make sure it's across the bottom. Okay. I am not used to talking and creating at the same time. I need to get the N off of, where did I place it? Oh, it's on my scissors. Right there. Look at that. Okay. yeah, I need to get back into the swing of talking and doing this at the same time, because it is not as easy as it looks whenever if you're like me and you tend to kind of get quiet and get lost in what you're working on, which is exactly what I do. Okay. My glue stick's old and it's goopy. There we go. I laid my heart in each moment. I like how that turned out. All right. Okay, well, I think we're done with this. I am really, really pleased with how it turned out. And I hope that you enjoyed this. And if you have any questions, please ask, and I will do my best to respond as soon as I can. And yeah, there we go. Yeah, I really like it. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and thank you for everything. Thank you for your support, and it feels really, really good to be coming back. So I can't wait to do more in this journal. I'm really, really enjoying this. So if there is anything that you would like to see as far as with me working on this, if you enjoyed me doing the page like this, if you do want to see me just going through and adding images in here and there, and maybe kind of talking about what I'm thinking as I'm doing it, please let me know. I am open for any ideas or suggestions on how you would like to see me work in this journal. So thank you again. Take care. Creative blessings. I love you all. And I will see you again really soon. Bye-bye.